Hi everyone, so this is 7.3, more multiplication with exponents, and the MYP word of the unit for this chapter is use, which means to apply knowledge or rules, to put theory into practice, so keep that in mind. So let's look at 7.3. We have two properties that we're looking at. One of them is called the power to a power property, and basically in this property, which is this top one over here, we're looking at when you have a power directly to a power. When you have that, you will multiply them together. Why is that? Because if you look here, x to the fifth power squared is the same thing as saying x to the fifth times x to the fifth, and in that case you would add them together, so you would get x to the 10th. So our shortcut is we just multiply them together. Our second property is raising a product to a power, which we've kind of done when we did the last section, which is basically when you have an exponent on the outside of a parentheses, like this, you apply it to each number on the inside. So ab, parentheses, to the n power would be the same as saying a to the n power, b to the n power, because you're applying it to everything inside of the parentheses. So let's look at some examples. If you look at the first one, n to the 8 to the 4, that's a power directly to another power. So we multiply, which means it's n to the 32. Sorry, this pen isn't very good. And then if you look, let's see, well, I guess these are all kind of power to a power. So why don't you try the examples on this page, pause, do the problems, and then when you start back up, you can check your answers. Okay, so go ahead and check your answers. And it's a little bit messy. This pen isn't working very well. But if you noticed, I wanted to call your attention to the third one, which is this one over here. It becomes negative, so we have to bring it down. Don't forget you don't want to have negative exponents. And I want you also to look at this one and this one because we have a couple there to the 0 power. So since it become 1, we can pretty much just cancel it out. Alright, let's look at some examples with a mixture of everything that we were doing before. So go ahead and take some time to do this warm-up. This has the multiplication properties that we learned the other day. And pause so that you can do them, and then you can check your answers in a few seconds. Okay, so if you notice in the first one, it would have been 5 to the negative 6 times 5 to the 8th. You add negative 6 and 8, and you get 5 to the 2nd, which is 25. On the second one over here, you get x to the 5 plus negative 6, which is negative 1, y to the 2 plus y to the first, so y to the third, and then you have to bring the x to negative 1 down, so it becomes y cubed over x. And then the last one, you multiply the 4 and the negative 3. That gives you negative 12. Add the a's together. You have a to the 5th and a to the 1st, so a to the 6th. And then add all the c's together, c to the 4th, c to the 3rd, and c to the 1st, which gives you c to the 8th power. Take a look at this example. This has a little bit of everything. So you have a power to a power, you have multiplying with powers, and you have the distributing or applying the power on the outside to everything on the inside. So let's take a look at this one, which has a pretty good mix. So we have c to the negative 12 on the outside, that stays, but we need to apply that 3 to everything on the inside. So now it's going to become c to the negative 6, d to the 3rd, and then there's a d to the 5th on the outside. Now we can combine our c's, so we get c to the negative 18 and d to the 8th. And then we can have negative exponents, so that c is going to come down, and we end up with d to the 8th over c to the 18th. Okay, go ahead and try the other ones. Pause so that you can do the problems without seeing the answers. Okay, so go ahead and check your answers. Alright, so here's a little more scientific notation. And basically what you're going to do with these is you're going to rewrite it so that it is whatever the exponent says. So 3 times 10 to the 5th to the 2nd power. So I'm going to write it twice since it's to the 2nd power. And then it's going to become 9 times 10 to the 10, because I add the exponents when I multiply, and they have the same base. Okay, so in essence, you could have just applied that 2 onto the 3 and applied the 2 onto the 5, and it would have given you the same answer in this particular problem. But that only works in scientific notation. So really you should get in the habit of rewriting it that many times. So if you look on the next one, it's 2 times 10 to the negative 3 to the third power, so you would really rewrite this 3 times. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get 3 times out of this pen. And then one more. Times 10 to the negative 3. And then you would multiply the 2 with the 2 with the 2, so you get 8. And add the negative 3, the negative 3, and the negative 3, so you get 10 to the negative 9. And that is your answer.